All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. It's been a couple weeks since I reviewed these, so I wanted to look at SOFI and Rocket on this video, okay? Before I get into the lines, just a little personal theory here, okay? This view that we're looking at right now is exactly why I've moved into this short-term swing trades that I really talk about a lot in these videos. Look, a lot of arguments can be made that SOFI might be a big fintech stock one day. Same really could be said for Rocket, right? I'm not here to argue yes or no. All I really know is this. I love riding the 8 up and getting out when the 8 is bad, when I see the MACD starting to look like this and the RSI starting to look like this, right? It for sure gets even louder when you lose the 8 and the 20. And for me, it's a little easier to control my limited funds by being in and out versus just kind of on a boat riding these waves, right? So all that said, let's get into the lines and do what we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines I do draw manually myself, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Look, 80% of the work is up here, and I always start up here, but it is so easy to just knock this out that I'm going to knock this out real quick. This is a horrible MACD, RSI, and volume reading, okay? And when we only have 3 things down here, because I've talked about it, right? When I move my money, I'm using something I've called the 1, and it's really just a little bit more complex version of this, but really I'm doing the exact same things, right? But when there's 3 things to look at down here, and all 3 are bad, on top of the fact that we're under the 2 most important lines arguably here, right? There's not much good you can hope for, okay? So just keep that in mind as I'm about to say some bad things, okay? Because look, where are we? We're a number of days over the 8. Obviously, this one day broke the 8, but if you watch my videos enough, you know I don't care about a single day. I'm looking for sustainability, not a quick pop and drop like we see here, right? And clearly the single break by no means gets good confirmation. What's worse is we've now lost both lines and this support line, right? You can definitely say this is a doji and not maybe good enough confirmation. I'm willing to say that, but look, in all honesty, we've been under the 8 so long. We're now well under both. It looks like all this is horrible, right? We have the red over green, red over green. It looks like green wants to just keep going lower. 40 is not quite at that 30 oversold range either, right? So it looks like this is probably going to head to 6. And I realize I just spent 3 minutes kind of saying bad stuff. Look, I am overall still bullish here as long as we stay over this purple line, as long as we're over the 200 moving average, there's still reason to at least feel a little bit good, okay? Obviously, I'm going to feel a lot better for over the 200, the 20, and the 8. But if we come down, hit this line, and then bounce back up, that is perfectly technical, and that is actually a pretty healthy move. Because look, let's just take it back a step. This RSI was hitting 87, and if you look at it, it pretty much was living in this high 80 for, I mean, a good while, right? So yeah, things need to cool down. I know we're in this kind of meme world, but like SoFi's not a meme stock, you know that, right? So yeah, things need to cool down. 80 to 30 is that general range. And yeah, there's still a little bit of room for this to cool down. Hopefully, by the time we get to here, this gives us that 30 reading, and then we're ready to go back up. You know what I mean? So that's definitely what I'm looking for. But one more time, ugly, ugly, incredibly ugly, and you don't need much technical analysis skill to see a sea of red with one insignificant green, right? So, yeah, not too much more to be said, I think, on this. One more time, the 200 is really what I'm looking at. I know I have this line right here, but it really seems like we're coming to the 200, and hopefully we bounce on the 200. If we lose it, that's bad. And hey, I would actually love for the 50 to maybe cross the 200, and we actually bounce on the 50 instead of the 200. That would be a little bit of a plus, because then, hey, I can actually say we're not retesting the 200. I'm zooming out. You know, I don't like to do it too much. But look, really quickly, just for some perspective, it's been a very long time since we've been over this 200, okay? And as nice as this moment was, we need the bounce to confirm it. You know what I mean? So I like that this 50 is coming up. That's definitely a good thing, right? And like I said, I ended it before the zoom out. Hopefully the 50 kind of does its job before the 200 even needs to do it, right? But overall, definitely looks like a little bit of pain is still coming. I mean, we're talking about almost a 10% drop, right? I mean, 60 cents is roughly 10%, or we're talking about 40 cents, right? So it's a little bit more than 5, between 5 and 7%, whatever, right? But that said, as long as we stay over the 200 one last time, this is still day-to-day bullish. Okay, this is not as happy a chart to see. So we're obviously on the weekly, and I wish I didn't zoom in because I'm about to zoom out right now. Sorry. Exact same. And truth be told, we've actually never really been over the 50 from the formation, because it formed on a doji and then just a nice straight ride down over the coming weeks, right? So the way I look at this is we've actually never been over the 50. That's a beautiful candle as the first one that's going to break it, but a couple things obviously don't happen, right? We don't hold 50%. We definitely have a pretty bad drop off in volume, and that keeps getting worse. You know what I mean? We're coming up in a real critical place here, all right? This 618, 620 range, this might be where it bounces actually, because ours is down here. Something might happen in this gap right here, but the way that this daily says is green, 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 green turns into red, 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 right? So hopefully the weekly can hold this right here. But yeah, again, it kind of seems like it'll come to 6, but again, maybe this 8 moving average will actually save it on the weekly, right? And which is why, one more time, I'm going to say it, maybe something will happen here preventing that gap down that would just seem natural to happen based on this daily, right? So but yeah, look, am I necessarily happy here? Yes and no, okay? I'm definitely sad that we didn't break the 50, right? I know, again, we're over it and we're still 4 weeks over it, but yeah, we did not break the 50, right? But this 8 is still moving up. This 20 is actually still moving up. I wish it was a little steeper, obviously, but I'm seeing it kind of wanting to go like that more than it's going flatter down, right? I'll at least say that. So hey, if this can bounce, that'd be great. And really, what am I talking about? I'm talking about next week a little bit, I think. You know what I mean? It seems like the candle's going to come here. I would hate to close Friday down here. All right, do not close Friday right here. I guess in some ways closing Friday there would be better than closing at 6. You're at least still 20 cents over. But I would really, really hate to lose this. I would much rather get that like full candle next week and kind of go back up. But what are my thoughts here overall? Look, if you're not in right now, I would say this is probably going to be no, I wouldn't even say that, right? Look, what am I looking at? I'm looking here. If we see a good bounce on the end of the day, though, you got to see how the bounce reflects on the 8, right? So look, let me word it this way. I'm going to lower this line to here, okay? I do now think this is the more important line to break if it can happen. We'll tighten that up a little bit. Everything else is pretty much moving averages in that. But yeah, I'd love to know if this can get over 738. I'll actually set an alert for 740. I think I'll get a nice little surprise when that one hits too, in all honesty. But yeah, over 740 will be real nice trading, because then this is going to be the next stop. And then this is going to be the next stop, right? So let me just kind of draw these just to have them. I'll take this one. And then I'll take this one. Cool. Okay, not that great a move right there. But yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. I'll still take it because it is definitely a little bit more than 10%. What does that hit right there? Yeah, look at that. No, I'm happy with these lines. Okay, cool. Again, it seems like 6 is coming. Just stay over that 200. I've repeated that way too many times. Okay, Rocket. Taking a look at Rocket. Rocket actually looks a little worse than SOFI, okay? Obviously, they're doing different things, right? SOFI has a little bit more of like, you know, stocks and things like that. Rocket is just kind of a strictly like mortgage thing, right? But Actually, I don't even know if that's true. Throw that in the comments if I'm wrong there. I don't know if Rocket does more than just like home mortgages, right? But one more time, right? You lose the 8, you lose the 20, you come to the 50. I'm glad we bounce, but just like I kind of took back at the end of SoFi, even if we do bounce on SoFi on the 200, you got to know how it does with the 8, cuz yeah, you can definitely bounce on the 50 like it does here, but then all you do is hit the 8, fail it, and come back down, right? So that's definitely scary. What I really am scared about is basically the same thing I was beating the drum on the last. Dude, we cannot lose the 200. This cannot go lower than 815. I realize there's another moving average there. Trust me, I get it. And I know I always say at least just stay within the cluster. This 200, I mean, it's the last one for a reason. And look, the way I believe money is moved in the market is there are computers, right? And if the computer sees the loss of a 200, I'm telling you, they're more nervous than I am as I'm saying these things. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing us coming to the 200. I'm seeing us come to the zero line. I'm seeing the green line look like it wants to keep going lower. I'm seeing this green line looks like it wants to keep going lower. I'm seeing a horrible volume. I'm really worried this is going to hold the 200, and that makes me a little more worried on SoFi that it's going to hold the 200. I'm being real, right? I do these in pair for a reason. You know what I mean? They tend to kind of move similarly, and again, you want to look for cues in other places if you can, but man, Rocket, I'm way more worried on than I am on SoFi. And again, that leads me to add some worry to SoFi. And look, the exact same story is happening here. Same thing where this 50 is pretty new. This thing's actually been worse. It's literally never been over the 50. At least SoFi had those red candles over it, right? But yeah, neither of them have ever broken the 50. Definitely a real nice run with confirmation, but just in general, we needed more. We needed sustained more, right? And now all we're doing is we're now under the 8. We're now under the 50. There's a couple days left, but I would hate to go under the 50 because that makes me believe we're coming down to this 790 number, right? What does it look like on the daily? We're 790. Is that you right here? That's 780, right? So, yeah. Hopefully 780 really is the lowest it goes. And hey, even if it goes 780, I'm just going to draw it real quickly, okay? There's still an uptrend, right? Just pretending it comes here and then bounces, that's still an upline, all right? Like, obviously, that was the better upline, and when we lost it, it was no bueno. That was still the better upline, and then now that we lost it, no bueno, right? But hey, don't make me lose this. Don't bring me into there, right? Take me here and let's go back up and I'll be okay with it. So that was my John Madden lines right there. Hopefully you liked it. But yeah, again, just a lot to be worried here. Hey, if you disagree with anything I said, please let me know. I am not here pretending to be perfect or all knowing. And I'm telling you, I'd much rather you let me know than watch my money go down the toilet. So I appreciate your time so much. Have a great one.